I'm sorry, I start all over again because I'm live on different platforms. So welcome, and hello. Hello to all of you and all the new people who have been following me quite recently. Welcome to my vortex, welcome to my world. A world that is probably just like yours, highly activated lately. So if you're joining for the first time, let me know who's there. Just say a little hello and how you're doing. Happy solstice to everyone. We're live on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram as well. Let me see your comments. Melinda's there, Elizabeth. Oh, beautiful. Valeska is here. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And for some people, it's in the morning. So let me know. I guess Australia, potentially. Let me know. Let me know where you're from. So the energies are definitely highly activating. So how do you feel? Do you feel them shifting? Do you feel... And it's true that more and more light workers do have a calling to celebrate, you know, the different astral positions and seasonal transitions. Is it something you feel that you need to do? The only thing I can tell you is that whether you celebrate it or not is not as important. It's still happening. With or without the solstice, you would still have this new awakening phase rising. But whenever there's some kind of seasonal change, Gaia needs to, of course, adjust. Gaia needs to flow with those new energies, and we might feel that whatever is already happening in the background feels somehow enhanced or more activated. Yes, beautiful one. So I'm going to talk today about something that that I will share in the next 3 weeks, but let's summarize it so everyone understands what is going through. I'm not the only person channeling this. I simply realize it as I am scrolling through Facebook, through social media, and having conversations with colleagues, and we're just talking to each other. Did you receive that information? Did you channel something around that? So it might not be exactly the same information, because we do all have a different mission, and we do all have, you know, different ways of connecting to the divine, but the movement is happening regardless of who is retrieving the information. Yes, the Gold Coast, Australia. Wonderful. So before we start, and we will start with a gentle, loving activation. So whatever is being said today enters your awareness through your heart center and not your mind. And we do that every week. Usually in my free group on Facebook, we meet every Tuesday, but energies are shifting so much that I have decided to follow the guidance they're giving me. And when I say that, it's my higher self and my star team, which is do it when you feel aligned. So that's why dates might change. I will try to respect the date that are set as much as possible. Come back in every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time in my free Facebook group. But sometimes it's not possible, and I will let you know. But I will always come back one day or the other, because there's so many things that we need to talk about it, and we need to process them, and we need to do some kind of recalibration to do so. All right, so I'm Natalie Restored. I'm the host of this page, wherever you're watching this from. I am a Lightworker mentor. What does it mean? I do help healers, intuitives, Lightworkers awaken to their divine self, to their divine purpose. So it means that whenever you enter my vortex, we accelerate the awakening, the expression of your intuitive abilities, so you understand how you're meant to share them with the world, without having to second guess what's happening, without having to second guess how to share them. And of course, we do all this in alignment with your soul purpose. So we ask your higher self to define what your soul purpose is. So without further ado, I do invite you to get comfy, get relaxed, close your eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose and release completely through the mouth at your own pace, without forcing, without forcing the inhale or the exhale. Make it natural. Let's do this one last time. Deep inhale and release. Feeling that you're surrounded by a multiple amount of light layers around your physical body. There's kind of a multitude of those layers. And those layers do connect with different aspects of yourself. As you are a multidimensional self, you live on Earth, you live on the fourth or in the fourth dimension, in the fifth. You live in realms where you're actually not even in an incarnation, you're not even in a kind of physical vessel. You are everywhere at once. But now we're connecting with the being you are conscious of, that carries your name, that carries your frequency. And this being right now has the ability to connect to all his or her avatars, his other versions. And we strengthen mainly the connection with your higher self. Your higher self is kind of the manager of all the different incarnations you may have. It makes sure that you're always on path, always aligned, and if you are misaligned, it will send you some kind of guidance so you can come back. So you can remember what you chose. You chose this incarnation here and now. So feel all your other incarnations. Feel all your other selves vibrating in different parts of time and space. And feel how gently they wish to communicate with you, to let you know that they're here, that they're ready to connect, they're ready to share data, and that you can count on them, as each one of them has developed different tools, different gifts, different abilities. And whenever you want to connect with them, they can come through. As today, many light workers have decided to unite and open a vortex, so the next phase of awakening becomes a conscious step into the evolution. We invite Natalie to share some light language. You may decide, if you wish, to slightly open your eyes while remaining in a beautiful, relaxing state, sensing all around you those different layers that are holding you as you rise. Karaik ok uro ateri hit nari ori ikayek rok ai sho ro nik nari aharat iacharo o tik up rising into your power as a dedicated light worker, entering your next phase of development. It's like receiving a promotion. Tara kaash aroko paranti tara ik oro shor mik o tara ich oro Take a deep breath in through the nose and release completely until no more breath, like a big, big sigh of letting go. Your heart center is open, completely activated, as if you could feel a ball of energy right in the middle of your chest, right here. And the valves were completely open, and that was allowing not only in the process to delete and dissolve some blockages you may have regarding your mission, what you think your mission is, or maybe your perception of what it is, or maybe what you feel isn't clear yet. Just delete. It is happening right now. There's a sense of release. And if your eyes were closed, I do invite you to open them up. I'm just going to drink a little bit. So, we're going to talk today about the next phase coming up. I did share on Facebook, and I will on YouTube and Instagram, a channeled message I received 2 days ago. I did not transcribe it very quickly, doesn't matter. The message was waiting for me, and it does explain exactly in very clear words what we have experienced since 2018 and what is coming now, what is unfolding now. Most of you feel it in their body, a sense of, what am I going to do? I cannot do things the way I used to. I cannot go back to this place, to this work. I cannot, even if you had a wonderful intuitive practice, it seems that things cannot be the way they are. So there's some kind of movement, there's some kind of change happening, and it is encoded within you. And that's what the beings I channeled were calling the intuitive codes. We're all coded with different data. Some data is for your personal life, some data is for the collective, some data is for the emotional programming, and some data is for the release of important information you have been encoded with. So we won't go through today through all the codes, but we will just pay attention to the fact that in this period now, it doesn't mean it will happen today or tomorrow, but they're telling me that the transition is happening right now. That's why my upcoming masterclass turned into an immersion, a 3-week immersion. It's free. The link is in the description. I do invite you to join. The ideal would be to join so you can at least watch the first opening, which is an inauguration. It's like opening the vortex, so we all rise together, rise in terms of moving to the next phase together, feeling supported, and you will be able to ask the questions as you feel the changes coming to the surface, to your awareness. So the link is there. You can just join. But what they're saying is that the process will last a few weeks. And of course, for some people it would be a lot more rapid, for others it will take a little bit longer. But for a lot of us, it will feel like a massive jump into another reality. So trust me, you will still be holding your feet on the ground, but you will do what I call interdimensional incursions. You will move from the third to the fourth to the fifth, come back to the third. You will travel between those dimensions. So how will it appear to you in your everyday life? It will appear like, I used to go to that place, I can't anymore. It doesn't resonate with me. Or I used to speak with these people, it doesn't work with me. I can't. Their energy, they haven't changed. They still look the same, they still speak the same way. And what is usually triggering during this transition to phase 2, and I will explain what phase 2 is that you may feel lost. You may feel they haven't done, those people, those places, or maybe it's your practice, the way you used to work. Nothing went wrong. There's nothing wrong with those people. There's nothing wrong with those places. There's nothing wrong with my work or my situation, but I can't. And this is already a sign of transmutation. This is a sign that you're shifting. I will answer your question, Rachel, about light language. So, I mean, are some of you resonating with what I'm saying right now? Are some of you already feeling that you may have this sensation of not belonging to what was known, what used to be known to you? It's not a new feeling for the rising light worker. But right now, it's happening on many, many, many topics, on many, many different locations, situations, and events. Before, it used to be slightly, gently incremental. There are always exceptions, but most light workers were experiencing upgrades once a month, once every 3 months, and they had time to adapt. They had time to adjust when they had the right tools or they could get the right guidance. At this point, you may go to bed and wake up in the morning, and what you had planned the previous day cannot be fulfilled on that given day. Either you're like, my body doesn't feel like it, I feel some kind of repulsion, some kind of distance, some kind of pull away from what I had previously programmed. And that is a sign that you're shifting very quickly. Of course, if you realize that the third day you're okay with the situation, then you may question, are you still going through an evolution per se? There are many reasons that could explain this, but let's talk about the spiritual aspect of those transitions. It's a feeling that you can try as many times as you want to go back to these gatherings, these sessions, these courses, this family, this job. It doesn't work. And this will be so potent and so clear that what they're trying to say and what they guided me to do, which was to hold you, to hold everyone, including myself, in a 3-week vortex, is so you can come back and speak to the group. We have a group of almost 70 people in the Revealing the Great Shift group, still accessible anytime, and we're starting tomorrow on June 22nd at 1 p.m. Pacific time. But during this 3-week process, you will be held. You will be held by the vortex we will all create. I'm just the initiator. I was guided, I was told to extend what I thought would be a 2-hour, 90-minute experience to a 3-week container. So let me read what you guys wrote. And if you are on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, I'm reading your comments. So yes, Crystal says for sure. Yes, from many. I'm sorry, I don't have all the names. Rachel, yes, yes, yes. You're feeling this sometimes. Elizabeth says, yes, you're resonating with what I'm saying and you're experiencing this. Yes, resonating, losing old friends. It doesn't feel right anymore. Totally, totally. So we all have a different mission, a different role. Personally, I do attract light workers who have already started the process. So they're not new beginners. They're not like beginners, like what is the higher self or what is a light worker? You guys already know. And that's important because there will be a lot of things that will be channeled through the next 3 weeks that may contain information, that may contain energy recalibrations that might feel overwhelming to those who are really beginners. Now, if you are a beginner and you have already joined the Revealing the Great Shift group on Facebook, don't worry, there's always a sign. If you were somehow called by the content and the description, it's because it's meant for you. But do not hesitate to ask questions around topics I'm using or words I'm using or what is channeled. A lot will be shared also in writing. I won't be able to share all the content from the Facebook group, the 3-week immersion on all platforms. I will have to summarize because the main action will happen there. So I invite you to be there. Yes, I was checking if I had more questions from you guys, and feel free along the way to ask. The first phase, and go back to the post I shared earlier today. I wanted just to share it in the group, the 3-week immersion, but I thought it was too important not to share it. Of course, in the immersion, they are already sending me the information that they will divide all this data and the upcoming energies into different segments so we can gently and lovingly integrate all these instead of either not wondering what's happening or simply waiting for the work to be done on its own. It will happen regardless whether you are in our vortex or not for the 3 coming weeks. It's meant to happen anyways. But the thing is that the strong message we're receiving for light workers is to gather. It's to unite. That has been coming massively in the last year, at least for me. So it means that, okay, what is needed to join? I'll send you the link because I know you guys are asking me on Instagram and there was no way for me to write it, and unfortunately I cannot write it now. It's on Facebook. It's a group on Facebook, and either DM me or I'll DM you with the link to register. To register to join. It's totally free. There's nothing special to do. We're starting tomorrow. But let's talk about the first phase so you understand what is the design behind all this. There's a design. There's really a clear design. So, of course, you have discovered through the different past decades that New Age movements and different movements, metaphysical movements, have emerged to slowly awaken us to what is on the other side. So, in the early 1900s and a little bit before, they were fascinated with death. They wanted to connect with the ones who crossed over. And that was amazing. That was the initial reconnection with what is on the other side. Other civilizations did it, but let's say that we're returning into another cycle. We're rediscovering the vastness of the other side, but we have to do it from the place we are right now. So mediumship was really something popular, and then we started to reconnect with older civilizations and trying to understand their rituals, and then we started to connect with archangels, and we started to rely, or at least work with healers, channelers, and we were waiting for them to channel some content, to offer workshops, to receive the guidance that were coming from higher light beings. That was up to 2018. 2018 was all about empowerment. That was the phase. They were starting to awaken some already rising light workers, already light workers that were playing with intuitive abilities, and new ones. They were kind of, and when I say they, it's the guides who were working with you, your higher self. They were waking you up and reminding you that there's more to this. There's way, way more to this. There's more to this, and get ready. So if, let's say, for the past 10 years, you have been a tarot reader, a healer, a Reiki practitioner, already around 2018, you felt that that could not be the same way forever. You may not have reacted at this point and saying, okay, I need to change everything, because you were holding the same frequency or a similar frequency for a long time, and your practice was set, and your tools were sharpened, your intuitive tools were sharpened, so you didn't think that, you had to do something, or something extremely revolutionary would happen. So there has been a slow transition until the health crisis. And that was the beginning of phase 2. And phase 2 is now open. Phase 2 is now open. What does it mean? It means that right now, it's all or nothing. And it's no pressure, and I don't want to pressure anyone. And again, it's not coming from me. I do not have the power to do that over anyone. It's just that those who are dormant will probably stay. When I say dormant, it means not aware of the multidimensionality of life on Earth, of what it means to be a human, or those who completely are scared or actually will demonize everything we're doing. So these people will go through a lot of challenges. It's different stories, it's different missions. Their missions will be, you want to experience the non-light, we'll show you the non-light. We'll show you the extent of the non-light. How much can you take? Maybe it's something they have created or they have participated in. How much can you hold of that non-light? Some people will say, that's enough. I'm going to the light. I want to find out if there's something a lot better, a lot more healthy and pleasant. Some people will stay in this, and some people will leave this reality because it will be too heavy. And you have those rising light workers, newly awakened light workers who have started their journey. And you have other light workers who have been doing this for quite a little while. But we're starting to be all mixed together. We're starting to be holding the hands of the new awakening light workers, and there's starting to be a shorter gap, a smaller gap between the experienced light worker who has done intuitive work for 10, 20 years and the one who just rose into his or her intuitive powers. The gap, the experience is less and less relevant. Which means that one of us here or one of us in the vortex will may be totally a newbie in this and awaken powers that it took us 20 years, 5 years, 3 years to develop. So at this point, we're feeling the extent of the Lightworker family. We feel them rising all over the globe with different modalities, with different tools, and it seems like it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing. They have their special unique taste and unique codes with their unique mission, and this is what you are also becoming. You're embodying the mission, what you have been encoded with. And phase 2 is the return to this multi-dimensional aspect we all have. That is the return. So some will say, well, the return has been going on for a while. Yes, but again, the key period was 2018 up to now, completely accelerated with the health crisis. And now it's you're in or you're out. Again, it's not as restrictive because it's never restrictive, but you will find it hard to be a part-time light worker. It's as if you're in or you're out. And when they say out, it doesn't mean they're rejecting you. It just means that it's going to be hard for you to just say, I'm a light worker only an hour a week. It's like saying, I'm Natalie only an hour a week. It's going to be stimulating you from all possible ends or all possible situations, all possible circumstances. A conversation will trigger you. A video like today, a conversation like today will unlock another code and unlock another code. So being a part-time light worker becomes less and less possible. And those of you who are working part-time in this field, who are just slowly rising, will feel some kind of discomfort if they do not dedicate more time to their mission. So it doesn't mean disconnecting from Earth. Earth is already evolving. She's just taking us along with her. So think of Earth as another friend in this Lightworker family. I'm just waiting to see if they want me to say something else, because most of it will be activated tomorrow in the opening vortex, or the vortex opening, I'm sorry. No, they're just saying that go back and read the text. I will put the link in that text in the comment section following this video so you can read it again, because there's so many codes, way more than I could verbalize right now. And you will understand why it's happening, but you will also understand the beauty of it. The beauty of it is you are my brother, you are my sister, you are my family. I'm just holding your hand. There's no competition. There's no competition between lightworkers. And if you feel that your friend channeler, your friend healer is somehow in competition within you, you're still struggling with accepting who you are. There's no competition. We're all different pieces of the puzzles that are meant to activate a certain amount of people. Some people will activate 2 people. Some people will activate 100. Some people will activate 1,000. Some people will activate just 1 person. You all have a role, but your role, you have to simply embody it. And until you embody not only your code, your mission, and your mission will become clearer and clearer. At this point, my work used to be to activate people. It is still that. For those of you, and I know some of you have worked with me in the past 2 or 3 years, or even more recently, well, you'll realize that it will be less and less of me activating you, but me more mentoring you. Mentoring you means I'm not telling you what to do, and it's not Natalie, it's always channeled. I'm more helping you see what codes you're already unlocking, what visions you're already seeing, what reality is already triggering some insights within you. So I'm just moving along with you so you can see already the guidance you see, so you can just dive into the codes. Again, the best analogy is really Neo in the Matrix when he sees the codes. It was a beautiful analogy, but it is pretty much like that. So I'm not sure you'll see codes, but you might see auras, you might see energies around people, around places, you might see things in the sky people don't see, you might sense things in people people don't. You are seeing the codes. You are seeing the codes that normally are accessible to everyone. And the second phase is the phase of the victorious. The victorious, and that's how they called it. Victorious meaning winning over your fears. And I will end this conversation with this, because even though it may sound magical, even though it may sound like, oh, it's going to pour over us and we'll be lifted, there's still groundwork to do. And your groundwork as pioneers, because what I'm saying right now won't be relevant in 5 or 10 years. It will be completely obsolete. But right now, this is our reality. All human beings are experiencing emotional programming, collective, personal, ancestral, family. So as you raise your vibration, as you become more aware of your intuitive abilities, fears that were either hidden or completely neglected, or you thought you had completely resolved, are resurfacing. It's not to hurt you. It's not to show you that you did not succeed. It's simply to tell you the human mind has been programmed so it feels that it needs something else all the time. It needs a guru, it needs a teacher, it needs a guide. It needs something else because I always feel insecure. The human mind is still working on a primitive programming where fear is the barometer. I get in or I don't get in. I move forward or I don't, because I feel safe or I don't feel safe. That is a program that most of the time overacts, is overly triggered. So this is the mission, and I have been saying this for years, but now they're like, Natalie, you can sell them the idea that the awakening process is magical, as it was for ages and ages. It's magical. You're going to see archangels. You're going to see the energy of Christ, which is, yes, you are. But if you neglect the reason why you're incarnated on earth, because you could have done that as a light being if it was just about archangels and angels and elementals. You were here because your main mission, your primary mission, besides unlocking your intuitive abilities, is to recode the human experience through the emotional lens. The emotional lens shouldn't be in a lens where instability and fear are always motivating a choice or a non-choice. That has been a program. So some of you, and I'm pretty sure of this, will unlock this in masses, that you will help them. You will help people heal their wounds so they can look at their multidimensionality from an open heart, not a heart that is bleeding, not a heart that is in pain, not a heart that is always wondering, is it really my imagination? Is it really happening? Am I crazy? Or this is fear of judgment, fear. We need to make peace with our emotions, which is to rewire ourselves. All this can happen during channeled activations. All this can happen, of course, through different processes. I have done therapeutic hypnosis. That was my main job. I'm talking about that like 5 years ago, and like for the past 10, 12 years, I started, a while back. So that was a great modality. But this modality is only focusing on one aspect unless you have developed what I called a while back intuitive hypnosis. But at this point, modalities that are at the same time working on your intuitive expansion, energy clearing, and emotional reprogramming are rare, but not for long, because we're all blooming, we're all emerging, we're all doing the work on ourselves so people can see where we came from. The original, I shouldn't say the original, the programmed human experience, which is what we are experiencing right now, and all the process to become the multidimensional human. What is the multidimensional human? It's a human who is on Earth, enjoying being on Earth, totally in agreement with the lessons he or she has to explore, to learn from, enjoying just the experience, but also developing their intuitive powers, realizing that they connect to their higher self, and blah, blah, blah. We can talk about that forever, but the multidimensional self is the ultimate goal. Was the original goal and the coding. But this, which is most humans now, are still stuck with this. And you light workers, you are creating a bridge between the now experience of what it means to be a light worker being led by fear. And you all evolve. You see, like, this is the origin. I'm sorry, I need a third hand. But your evolution, in order to reach the final, it's not a final kind of destination. It will always grow. It will always expand to more and more as we evolve. But let's say that right now, if you can truthfully and sincerely say, I'm connected to my higher self, I'm connected to all light beings, I manifest everything I wish for my highest good, then you're in a good place. But people need to see the journey. This is where we're at right now. We're on the journey. We're on the journey to reach this. So some of us are closer, some of us are a little bit further, but if you're here, you're somewhere halfway. You're somewhere halfway. You're not starting from what is a light worker. You're not there. And even if you are, and you're watching this, there's nothing wrong. You're probably at the right place. So if you have questions, I do invite you to ask the questions so you can understand what's happening in terms of process. So you are becoming the pioneers, the people who will master. They're telling me to say to master the beast. And beast, don't think it in a biblical way. It's really not what they're saying. But what has been labeled as beast is an aspect of the human experience that needs to be reviewed, that needs to be reprogrammed. So fear becomes an invitation to healing. So fear becomes an invitation to evolve, you see. So this next phase, it's a return to the original coding of what it means to be a human being on Earth. It has been experienced, I would say, a million years ago. So you may know times called Lemuria or Atlantis. At this point, again, it doesn't really matter when it happened, but it did happen. It did happen at one point where the higher self was in the body. The body was just purely intuitive. We could go in and out through dimensions. If something was off, it was easy to recalibrate, always with a desire of well-being, always with the desire to support and help. So we're going slowly to this. The slowly is already faster than what used to be in 2018 and definitely even before. It's like you can do within weeks what was achieved even 4 years ago in 3 months. That's why even my work with people, there's so many things happening that I'm not even doing group, long-term group programs. I'm just selecting, okay, you guys want to work with me. I'm selecting 2-3 people over a period of 3 months. I work with you. I don't even have the full spectrum of what they want me to share in the next group program, which will be maybe like lasting 2 or 3 months, but that will be another level. They told me it would happen in the fall. I was like, how come? What's gonna happen in the summer? Well, they were right. It's not meant to happen now because I guess they want me to take you on another journey before the big journey awakens in me, in my reality, so I can share it with you. So it means I have work also to do. So do you have questions around this? And feel free. I will check your questions if you do have some. But again, let's experience this. Let's feel this. Now I'm trying simply to decode what was channeled. And again, I will give you a link to go back to this channeled message, which really explains very well the last month and what's coming ahead. And it's beautiful, very encouraging, but at the same time, very realistic. There's no, and that's the energy they're conveying through me. It's not an energy, I just want to warn you, because there will be times in the revealing the great shift immersion starting tomorrow. And again, it's on Facebook, it's totally free. There will be times where it will be like lovey-dovey, gentle, and I know there will be times where you will be like, whoo, and myself, I'll be surprised by it. It won't be something planned. So we're officially starting tomorrow, and I will ask you to join us with the intention to be present. I totally understand you won't be able to do all the events live, and it's totally understandable. We will have over 3 weeks, 1 live event, pre-planned live event per week, but there will be many more. I cannot plan in advance, because if I wake up one morning and they're telling me we have a message, we have an activation, I might just tell you 2 hours in advance. Maybe luckily more than that, but it could also be 10 minutes in advance. So I totally understand that you cannot stop everything you're doing, but there will be 3 official activations, and the first one starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and 1 every week officially. You will get, they're telling me that every week they will give us a plan of what will be worked on. So you see, it's even very different for me, because usually programs, I plan them in advance. I tell them what are we supposed to teach them, so you guys know in advance what you're going to join, what you're going to embark on. At this point, they're just telling us the overall energy, the overall outcome, and what you guys can expect. And at the same time, they're not even telling me the full components of each week. But it will touch every area of the awakening, and definitely tune into the actual energy, so you understand where you're at, so you understand a little bit clearer where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to work on, what you're supposed to develop. So it's really exciting, because it's a different way for me to work with a group of people. But all I can say is that try the best you can to be involved in that process, because they're really showing me that by the end of the 3 weeks, we will shut down the group. It means that you won't go back. You won't be able to go back to the recordings, to the sessions. So of course you have enough time to watch the previous ones, but it's like let's get together, let's work on, it's like an intensive. But once it's done, integrate, and then you're ready for the next phase of your evolution. So this is how it goes. That's a pleasure, Renata. Thank you for being here. I will send you the link, Renata, so you can join. And I hope it's okay for you to join via Facebook, because it's such a quick guidance they sent me, that I didn't have any time to build anything. And the best way is to use a setup, a platform that allows me to quickly create a small community of light workers. So, yes, make sure, somebody says I'm driving, make sure that you're okay. Yeah, I don't know who is there, but yeah, it's not an activation per se, so you're good. Yes, wonderful. So if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you guys are going to join us. Again, the link is in the description if you're on YouTube and Facebook. And for those of you on Instagram, I will send it to you. Why don't you just, if you watch this live or as a replay, just say, I want the link to register. Just post that in the comments or send me a DM and I will send you the link. The 3-week immersion is free, but it's going to rock your boat in a beautiful way, but in a powerful way. So you may, of course, decide to see whether it's for you or not, and may decide that that's either too slow or too fast for you. That's all good. It's not coming from me, so I'm not hurt in any way if you disconnect. But if you decide, yeah, that's great, that seems to be what I like, that seems to be what I need, please stay for the 3 weeks. If you cannot make it live every day, no worries, but don't wait 2 weeks to watch again, because from 1 week to another, the group's energy will have shifted already. So I may come back to what was said the first week, but at the same time, you will feel like, so you won't be overloaded with information. This is not what they want. I won't be there every day with a new live. I would not be able to hold it. And we need to integrate this. We really need time to really let the steam settle, so you see how the activation has triggered something within you. So you won't feel overwhelmed. You won't feel overwhelmed, I promise you. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's one big activation per week. And when I say big, around an hour and a half. Then mini live videos here and there to ask you how you're doing, you have any questions, or simply to convey a message I just received, because they sense that the group may need some guidance. So it won't be overwhelming, but just be there. Just be there, beautiful ones. So if you don't have any questions, well, I'll let you go. Jump on the group, as I will go live in the group. So again, the group is called, if we're friends on Facebook, you will find it. I posted the link everywhere to join the Revealing the Great Shift group, Facebook group. But I will just hop on this group so I can share more details of what's coming tomorrow and in the next week. So that's exciting. I will always come back in my different platform to keep you updated, but the action is really in the vortex. All right, beautiful ones. I wish you a wonderful day, and I remain available if you have any questions. All right, beautiful ones. Bye-bye.